Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clickbait and Coffee. We are going to wait just a few seconds, see who all's in the chat. And when this thing actually goes live, because it lags, John was the first one in here at 7:34 this morning. He says, I'm at work, but I still wanted to say hi. I'm blessed. John, I appreciate it. Michael Hamilton, good morning. Guys, it is Tuesday. Thank you, Michael, for the two before. All right. Guys, it's Tuesday. It's going to be an amazing day. The weather's going to be nice. Honestly, as much as I hate to say this, we need some rain. It's going to be 87 today. We are dry as all get out here. I mean, like you walk out in the front yard and it sounds like you're walking on Rice Krispie treats because it is just so stinking dry. I have not mowed the yard. Oh, crap. I hadn't mowed the yard in two to 3 weeks, something like that. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, we could use some rain. That's for darn sure. So hopefully we'll get some this week, but it's not looking super good. But at least all this super hot weather is gone. I'm happy about that. So Greg Skeens, good morning. Andrew Massey, good morning. Lynn, good morning. And Bill is here. Good morning to everybody. How was everybody's weekend? Did y'all get much stuff done? Get much stuff done this weekend on the homestead or prepper wise? I got a few things done, not a whole lot. I've been working on it. It seems like a never ending job trying to get the house all finished up, painted, and all that stuff. And it's like, yes, that's the last thing that gets done. It's always like that. My stuff is the last stuff to get done, and it seems that way all the time. Just because you're working at everybody else's house. And I heard my wife talking to one of her friends. I was doing the bookcase the other day, and she sent it to her friend. Her friend's like, "That's nice." And is your husband painting it or this and that? And she's explaining. She's like, "Yes." She said, "My house is the last one to get done." I was like, "Yes, because you have to make money first." So I'm glad she understands that. Thank goodness. Let me see. Michael got the plums picked before the rain. That's cool. Hopefully, Michael, some of that rain will come down here. It's just nasty and dry. I don't know how the hay's doing. Guys cutting hay. There's probably not much hay cutting going on right now. I'm afraid hay is going to be super expensive this winter just because of the lack of rain that we've got. Let's see, Bill. I'm busy working on stuff, getting situated and organized so I can move stuff from my neighbors to home. Yeah, Bill, you got a bunch of stuff your neighbor's giving you. That's awesome. You got all kinds of good stuff coming. So, hey guys, today we're going to talk about. I was sitting there yesterday afternoon. I was like, "What's a good topic for it?" And then I sat there and thought. I was like, "I need to get my freeze dryer running more often. We use it, but it needs to be running 24/7 to really." To really make it worthwhile. And I was sitting there and I was like, what if we did a show and talked about canning versus dehydrating versus freeze drying? So I sat last night, typed up, kind of some stuff I wanted to talk about. I've got it sitting here. So today we're going to talk about canning versus freeze drying versus dehydrating. Which is better for you? I can't decide that for you, but you can decide it after I give you some stuff on it. But we do all three, and I would advise people to do all three. But that's going to be what we're going to talk about for the main topic of today here in just a little while. But, guys, tell me what y'all got done this weekend. I'm interested. What are your plans for the week? And also, one other housekeeping thing. Friday, I've got to plan on when we're going to do the show. We've got the field trip. My youngest son, I always go on every field trip with him. His field trip is Friday, and we're going to Mammoth Cave. And we have to be there. I think we have to be there at 9 o'clock. So that's going to kick into showtime because Mammoth Cave is about 45 minutes or better away. So would y'all rather me do the show on Thursday, or would you rather me do the show Friday night? So tell me which one you would rather have. Thursday morning or Friday night. I'm good with either one. I don't think we have a baseball game or practice on Friday night. So I'm open on any of that. So tell me which where y'all would rather do, and we'll figure out if we can make that work. So also, somebody hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Let everybody know that we're on, and probably not to show anybody else, because YouTube does not stick this out real well in the algorithm. All right. Land navigation class. Don't forget, that is November 8th and 9th at Barren River State Park. Mike Adkins is going to be teaching that joker for us, and super excited for that class. It is going to be fun. Brian and Susan from S&B Homestead Radio will be up running all our comm stuff and doing everything with that. So that's going to be a super fun class. We are working on a comms class with Brian and Susan. That's going to be, it'll be after the first of the year, just because we've got so much other stuff booked and going. It'll be after the first of the year. It's going to be a good class. They always do something awesome. Dana, I'll either have to do it Thursday morning or Friday night. Thursday night we got a baseball game, so it's either Thursday morning or Friday night for the Friday show. But yeah, tell me which one's good for y'all. But yeah, we're working on the comms class with Brian and Susan. Also, we've got Leslie going to be doing her herbal class. LP, good morning. How's it going, buddy? So guys, go check out, I think Local Prepper is on right after me at 9 o'clock. So go check LP out. He's always got some cool stuff going on. He's been doing some cool interviews that I've been listening to while I'm working. So go check out Local Prepper after this deal. And don't forget, herbal class with Leslie, December 6th. And we are also, since we had to cancel Combat Midwife, just because we didn't have enough people signed up, she canceled it, and we're going to reschedule it for in the spring. So we've already got the building at Western for October 25th. So Shelly and I are most likely going to do a homestead meetup. And if you've never been to our homestead meetups before, essentially what we do is it's all free to come. We do a potluck lunch. Shelly and I will provide meat. Everybody else just brings sides. That's the only thing it costs you to do. Everything's totally free. We'll have everybody will show up, hang out for a while. We're going to do like a short morning session of something to learn some kind of skill. We'll have lunch, hang out for a while, and then we'll do an afternoon session. So we're still toying around with the way we're going to do it, but most likely it looks like 99% sure October 25th, we're going to have a homestead meetup, which is totally free. Anybody's welcome to come. And that will be at Western, where we do the festival. There'll be more out about that soon as we get all the details. We're still kind of working on it. But I just wanted to throw that out for everybody. So the homestead meetup is fun. The last one we did, we had a lot of people there. It was a good time. Got to meet. We had people, I think we had some people come in from Indiana. I know we had several people come in from Tennessee. A couple people came in from E-Town, and then Greg and Mary Beth, they came down from around Louisville. So it's a good time to meet a bunch of people, hang out, eat, learn a few things, and just spend the day hanging out with everybody. Also, first aid kits and medical supplies, all the stuff is in stock, ready to go. Also, pre-programmed radios with a consultation. All our radios are in stock, ready to go. Brian and Susan are doing all the consultations for you. So if you need any radios and consultations, jump on the website and check all that out. And you won't be disappointed with those. The radios are awesome. I've got to get the 9800. I bought one for myself. I've got to get it out, and I've got what I'm planning on is right over here, getting me a small desk, moving all my radios from the other room into here. But first, I've got to find a desk that's going to work, and then second, I've got to reroute antenna cables, which I'm not super excited. One of my antennas, my UHF VHF, is in the attic for one of those, so I've got to pull the wire, because the coaxial goes all the way from the attic to first floor into the basement. So I've got to pull all that out and then bring it across. Excuse me. I got to bring it across the attic and then all the way down through the first floor and into the basement. So, and personally, I really didn't want to do that when it was, 120 degrees in the attic. So everything's getting cooler. So that's on my list to do, to where I can have all my comm stuff down here in the office. And then after I get that, we'll probably do some videos on radios once everything is set and ready to go. So, all right, guys, let's check the chat. Bill says we do mostly freezing foods. We do vacuum seal dry goods. I'm good with whatever the schedule allows. All right, we'll kind of figure it out and play it by ear on that, but I will set it soon enough that people know. And Russell Homestead, still working on the outdoor processing, butcher, and canning kitchen, and working on fruit trees and blueberry guilds. Dana, I met Dana the other day and talked to her for a few minutes. I wished I would have had more time. I was running in to get some paint, and she had met me. I had something for her, and super nice person. She's got a bunch of stuff going on, so check it out. She's got it's Russell Homestead. It's on Facebook. She's working on her outdoor processing, canning, kitchen, all that kind of good stuff. But she's got some fun stuff going on there. And yeah, we do have a great dehydrator, and we'll start using it soon. Yeah, dehydrators are good. And honestly, dehydrators are not stinking super expensive just for a cheap one. So, all right, guys. I made a bunch of notes yesterday while I was sitting here once we got in from the game. So canning, dehydrating, and freeze drying. Those are your three biggest and most well-known food preservation tactics that I use. We use all three of those. So guys, tell me what's your favorite. Tell me if you like canning, if you like if you like dehydrating, or if you like freeze drying. We use all three. I've got a canner. We bought, so I think it's the Presto model. I think it's the Presto brand. I'll have to look and see. I forget, all the brands just run together, but one of the electric canners. And man, those things are the stinking bee's knees. It's almost set and forget kind of thing. It's like, put your stuff in there, hit the button, and you don't have to worry about it, which is amazing. And then my mom found out. She's like, "You've got one of those? I've been wanting to buy one." I was like, "If you want to borrow it, you can." Chantal says canning is her favorite. But yeah, we do all that. I've got those canners. Then I've got two dehydrators that I bought. They're from Academy Sports. They almost look kind of like an Excalibur. They're like a rectangle that take the trays that slide in and out. I think they've got 5 trays on them. I bought those. I was in Academy Sports. I love Academy Sports, but I was in there, man, it's probably been 10 years ago, something like that. And they had a closeout on those. I don't know if they're changing the model or whatever, but these things were expensive dehydrators, and they had them marked down to, I think, like $60 a piece. And I was like, I want to snag 2 of these jokers. So I've got 2 of those. Love those things. We do a lot of jerky, and I've done a lot of vegetables with those to put up. Freeze dryer, I've got a Harvest Right freeze dryer. I've got the large model. Absolutely love it. I mean, it's amazing the stuff you can freeze dry. And the shelf life on all of it. It's kind of up to your imagination what you can and can't freeze dry. So the funny thing is, the kids at church have found out we have a freeze dryer, and they're like, "Hey, will you freeze dry candy for us and bring it?" So we always, once or twice a year, we'll take and freeze dry a bunch of candy for the kids in our class and take it to them. They absolutely love it. Let's see, Bill. We don't can anything yet, or do we have a freeze dryer? And yeah, I mean, freeze dryers are expensive. I mean, they are the freeze dryers, and we'll go over it. I kind of sketched out canning. To set up to get a pressure canner, you're looking $150 starting out, and you can go all the way up. Just like Michael said, get a bank loan. Got a bank loan and got an All-American canner. Yeah, the All-American canners are like the premier top of the line canners. They are amazing. They are expensive, but the thing is they're going to last probably forever if you take care of them. So, but you can get the cheap Prestos starting, 130 to 150 bucks, going from there. Dehydrators. I pulled some dehydrators up on Amazon. You can get a cheap entry level dehydrator for 40 to 50 bucks and go all the way up. Excaliburs. Last time I checked, Excaliburs are kind of top of the line on your dehydrators. But, you can go from 50 bucks and up. I saw some, that were 200, 300, 400 on the dehydrators. And Tina, good morning. Hey, as long as you're here and just a little late, it's fine. I'm not worried about that. But I appreciate you being on here. Freeze dryers. Freeze dryers are going to be your most expensive option. You've got your small freeze dryer from Harvest Right is starting at about 1,800 bucks, and then they just go up. The lower or the extra large that they offer now is like around 5,000 bucks, and then they've got a let me see, they've got a commercial one. Let me see. Yeah, they've got a commercial one now that's running like $14,000. This thing is massive. But it's kind of crazy. That's a big commercial freeze dryer. I don't know anybody that's got one of those. I know a couple people that have the extra large, but I've got the large. So you're looking freeze dryers, 1,800 to $5,000, or you can jump up to 13,000 for that. Let me see, Bill. What is the link for the? It's the School of Earth and All, and I do not know how to put a link in here. I don't know how to put a link. It's the School of Earth and All, and she's on Facebook and YouTube. It's Leslie Gossett, so check her out. I'll see. Let me see. L2 Survive. Good morning. Let me see. It's schoolofearthandall.com. And Bill, if I knew how to type all this stuff in here and send the link, I would. But I don't know exactly how to do that. Let me see. Can I find it with the whole name now? Yeah, Bill, I just get on the Google machine and type in the School of Earth and All, and it's the first one that comes up on Google. L2 Survive, good morning. We're talking about canning, freeze drying, and dehydrating this morning. Differences on the stuff, what you prefer, what's your favorite method of food preservation. And Russell Homestead. I'd love to freeze dry, but I'm a little intimidated by it. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'd like to know more about them. I can dehydrate regular year round. Freeze drying would be a great demonstration for the next festival. Hey, we've thought about that, and we've thought about doing freeze drying. The bad thing about freeze drying is it takes quite a long time to run a cycle. They've got a candy cycle where you can run it. I think the candy cycle takes like 4 hours or something like that. But the bad part's actually just running it. We're trying to figure it out on how we could do it. And but it'd probably wind up being a 2-part deal to where we start the process and show you how to load all the stuff in the machine and then fire the machine up. And then, 24 hours later, we're going to pull the stuff out and let you see it. So let's start in. And I've got a bunch of notes on here. Canning, whether you're doing pressure canning or water bath canning, shelf life. And this is kind of just the standard shelf life. And yes, it can go longer. It can go longer on it. Typically, your shelf life is 1 to 5 years safely. There's been people that eat stuff a lot longer. I mean, I've eaten stuff that's been longer than that we've canned. I've eaten commercial canned stuff that's been way out of date. No problem whatsoever. Hadn't had a problem with it. Some of the advantages of canning, whether this is commercial canning or your home canning, the advantages are kind of going to be the same. They're ready to eat. I mean, you can open up the jar or open up the can and eat it right then. You don't even have to warm it up if you don't want to. I mean, do whatever you wish. I mean, that's the nice thing. You can just open that can and start eating out of it. It's versatile. I mean, you can use it for all different types of stuff. You can use it for fruits, vegetables, meats, full meals, doing soups. You can do chilies. You can do chicken soup, stuff like that will all go. Shelf stable. So there's no extra, everything is shelf stable. You don't have to worry about refrigerating anything until you open it and use it. It can set on the shelf and it's great. It's set and ready to go. And like I touched on before, it's pretty affordable to get into. You're looking $150 starting out for a pressure canner, somewhere around there, and then up. So it's an easy gig to get into. You're not investing thousands of dollars to get into it to see if you like it or not. Some of your disadvantages on it is the weight. Canned stuff is heavy. I mean, the jars are heavy. They're fragile. They can break. They're not ideal. You're not going to grab 30 quart jars and throw them in your bug out bag and take off, because then you're going to wind up with a bunch of broken glass and a bunch of canned food in the bottom of your rucksack that you can't use. Shorter shelf life than freeze-dried stuff. So your shelf life is going to be shorter on your freeze-dried stuff. Your freeze-dried stuff is going to have the longest shelf life of anything. It takes quite a bit unless you've got one of the electric pressure canners, you kind of got to babysit the stuff while you're canning it somewhat. So you can't just set it and forget it kind of thing. So it's a little labor intensive. You can do other things while you're doing it, but you've got to keep an eye on everything. With the electric pressure canners, you can kind of set and forget it. So that kind of throws that out of the window if you got the electric one. Another thing, use it everyday food rotation. You've got ready-made meals. You know exactly what you've put in these meals. You know how much salt you like in your chili. You know the exact flavor that you like in your chili and everything. So if you want to do it, can your own chili, you can do that. So it's more of like a comfort food on that. Rotate through there. I like canning and stuff. We've got a bunch of canned stuff, like I said, and we'll move on. Dehydrated stuff. Let me see. Bill said he found it and subscribed now. Leslie does have some amazing stuff on her on her channel. She does Patreon too, where she does weekly meetings with people on Patreon. So I know she's got that also, Bill, if you're interested in that. And let me see. Also, steam canning uses less water and fuel. My wife just finished 40 pounds of beets. That's awesome, Michael. And then Bill, I've eaten Granny's canned fruit till it's 10 years old. Yeah, and that's kind of your safe, 1 to 5 years. And stuff goes, I mean, realistically, if it is sealed and canned and done right, it's going to last indefinitely. And they found... they found some shipwrecks or something like that to where it was, I forgot how old this food was, but they opened it up and essentially the food had lost a lot of the nutrients in it, but it was still safe to eat. It didn't look real good, but it was safe to eat. There was no botulism or any kind of disease or anything like that in those cans. They were still fine. So yes, it will last longer than that. All right. Dehydrating. Dehydrating, essentially, you're removing the water from the food, and you're wanting, 90 to 95% of the water taken out, and you're using a little bit of heat, and you're using airflow. You can do it with an electric dehydrator, or you can dehydrate it outside. One of my fondest memories, one of my aunts and uncles kept us a lot when we were younger. And every fall, my uncle had a pretty good sized orchard. Good morning, Melanie. How are you? Melanie said she's trying to listen and work. Melanie, just stop working and just listen. That's all you need to do. And if your boss gets mad, just tell him to forget it. So, but my uncle had a pretty good sized orchard, and he would take apples. When the apples were coming in, he would take the apples, they would peel them and cut them up. And he had several big boxes that had a real fine mesh screen on there so the bugs couldn't get on it. And he would set those and put all the apple slices on there and let them sit out in the sun until they dehydrated and turned in. They never got like super crispy, but they got where they were flexible. You could still bend them, but they wouldn't break. But I remember we would go over and grab some of those, and we thought those were the greatest things in the world. But he would do that and then save those. And then my aunt would make fried apple pies. And what I would not give for one of those fried apple pies right now, they were amazing. So your shelf life. So, well, on dehydrating stuff, you can do it with a regular commercial dehydrator, or you can set it out in the sun and do it that way. That's how, people used to do jerky. They would take it and cut the meat into thin strips, season it, hang it outside where the wind was blowing and the sun was hitting it to dry it out. Or they would put it, I've seen, people build a small little teepee and do the little fire underneath it and let the wind come through and the smoke and to preserve all that. So you can do that. You don't need electricity to dehydrate food. 5 to 10 year shelf life. If you put it in Mylar bags, I've got stuff that we dehydrated that it was smaller batches. So we would put it in wide mouth quart jars and I put an oxygen absorber in it. I've got stuff that's probably 7 or 8 years old that is still perfectly fine to use. Not a problem with that. One of the big things with that is if you're going to store it and want to store it for a fairly long time, put in an oxygen absorber in there. That's just going to help out with the long-term storage on it. Some of your, a secret little thing on this, one thing that dehydrates amazingly well and freeze dries amazingly well is if you want to do a bunch of vegetables, you can buy frozen vegetables like the 1 pound packages. They're probably 12 ounces now because of shrinkflation. But you used to be able to get the like 1 pound frozen carrots or frozen peas or, the vegetable mix at Kroger or Meijer, the 1 pound things. You used to be able to get those for like a buck a piece. And then when they ran a sale, you could get, buy 10, get one free. Those, you can dehydrate those and they work out amazing. And my dehydrator, I've got a 1 pound package will fill a tray up. So you can do that, dehydrate those things until they're crispy. Like you can take a kernel of corn or a green bean and take it. And when you crunch it down, it turns into almost like a powder. If you're going to get it that good, that stuff is going to last a long time. And you can use that to make soups, stuff like that. You can freeze dry it, and it works great for freeze drying also. But some of your advantages on dehydrated stuff, it's lightweight and it's compact. It's not going to weigh a whole lot, and it's going to be a little bit smaller than the original package. That's great, for throwing into your bug out bag. I would much rather throw a bunch of dehydrated stuff in a bug out bag than I would canned stuff, because yes, your dehydrated stuff's not going to break and all that kind of stuff. It's affordable, Dehydrators we talked about before. Dehydrators are going to start at $50, and the sky is the limit on how much you're going to spend. So it's fairly cheap to get in there. Simple process. I mean, essentially you slice your stuff up that you want to do. If you're doing jerky, slice it, season it the way you want your jerky, put it on the trays, let it dry to how long you want, and then bag the stuff up. It's pretty easy to get into. It's great. We do jerky. I love doing jerky, and I need to get the dehydrators out and do some more jerky. It's been a while, but I absolutely love doing jerky. And then most other times, the other stuff we do are fruits and vegetables. Disadvantages on the on your dehydrating, you do lose some of the vitamins and minerals in there. That's just inherent. It's going to some of your stuff. The texture on it, sometimes it might be chewy or brittle. You're gonna have to, most of the time when I'm looking, unless I'm doing jerky or like some apples on that, you're gonna have to rehydrate this stuff. So I mean, we're not going to dehydrate a bunch of corn and then just eat the corn, in its dehydrated state. We're going to rehydrate it and use it into soups or something like that. The shorter shelf life, the shelf life is not going to be near as long as freeze drying stuff. Freeze drying stuff is going to be your king as far as storage time. So the best part about it is it's lightweight. You can use it for snacks. And then, like I've said several times, use it for soups and stews. Let me see. L2 Survive. I have canners and dehydrators. What I don't have is time. I will put up beans and rice in 5-gallon buckets, but I buy everything else or pick it off the tree. Yeah. And time is one of those things. The nice thing, and we'll kind of get into it too. Well, I mean, we can get into it right now. Dehydrators, stick the stuff in the dehydrator and you can just let that joker run. If you don't have time to grab it when it's, quote, ready to go, let it sit in there. It's not going to hurt anything. With a canner, you've got to be there, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to run off into town and do this and that and everything. It's like you've got to maintain that canner. With your freeze dryer, you have to be there a little bit with it. Once the cycle is running, yes, you can leave and do other stuff, but you need to know when that cycle is going to be done to be able to pull it out. And you can always go, mine has got, if you need to add like an extra 2 hours or something to it, you can hit add more time and add a couple extra hours to it. After a while, it will go ahead and cycle itself back to where it's not going to ruin the food that's in there. So I've had it before where I can't catch it, and it goes ahead and starts the cycle back up, and then you've got to finish that cycle. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I understand why they do it, because they don't want the food to go bad with it. All right. The king of everything, freeze drying. Like I said, I've got the Harvest Right Large. I've had it for several years now. Absolutely love it. Not had a problem with it whatsoever. Your freeze dryers are going to start out at like $1,800 and run. The extra large is $5,000. The commercial one is like $13,000 or $14,000. I love my Harvest Right. We use it a bunch. And then let me see what else to survive. If you plant 5 perennials every year, and 5 years from now, you'll have 25 plants that will feed you for life. After 10 years, you'll have 50. Get some chickens and you're set. Yeah. Hey, now, L2 Survive, I like perennial stuff. I'm a big perennial person. We've got our food forest down there, which pretty much everything's perennial down there. We do put new garlic in every year just because we harvest most of it. But, yeah, fruit trees, blueberry bushes, all your fruit trees, your strawberries are down there. We've got some other stuff down there, and we've got some more stuff we're going to put in this year. But yes, perennials, in my opinion, are the way to go. It's kind of set and forget it. You put all the work in the get-go, and then it's all kind of maintenance from then on there. But L2 Survive, I'm with you. I love perennial systems. Mike Shepard, good morning. Mike, are you driving the bus today? L2 Survive, asparagus. Yes. I do not like asparagus personally. I think it's gross. My wife absolutely loves it, and my mom loves it. So we've got some asparagus. I've got to check on it. Shelly gave me a bunch a couple years ago, and it's done halfway decent. Got in it at 10:30. All right, freeze dryers. The way the freeze dryer works, it's kind of interesting. I looked at it before and I'm like, how does the freeze dryer actually work? So what it does, the freeze dryer takes the food and will freeze it. I think it takes it down to like -20 or -30 degrees. So it freezes that, and then it starts a thaw cycle. And as it's thawing out, it puts everything under a vacuum. So as it's thawing out, any moisture in there is vacuumed out as it's thawing. And as it's thawing, and then it sucks all the moisture out. So it's an amazing thing. And it essentially, what it says, it turns the ice directly into a vapor. It retains all the structure, the taste, and the nutrients. I love my Harvest Right. Let me see. Anyone try the Harvest Right Wi-Fi upgrade? Greg, I have not. I'll check into that. To be honest, I hadn't looked at any of the upgrades or anything on that. I will look and see. That sounds pretty cool. It would be nice to have it linked where you can look at it on your phone. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. That would be awesome to have that. Then Michael Hamilton says no. But all right, and you're looking shelf life 20 to 30 years if you're sealing it in Mylar with oxygen absorbers. And I'm also going to put, you can seal this in mason jars. I've got a bunch of cheese. We had a bunch of shredded cheese, like shredded cheddar cheese. I ran it through the Harvest Right, freeze dried all of it. I put it in wide mouth quart mason jars and put an oxygen absorber in it. You just want to make sure that it's not exposed to light, because that's going to degrade it faster. But I've got it, stuck it back in the boxes and covered it up. That stuff, we did it, I think, a couple years ago. I would pull that stuff out and go to town with the shredded cheese. But you're looking typically 20 to 30 years. Milk is not going to last as long. I think the milk, they said they usually give like a 5-year shelf life on milk if you're going to buy commercial freeze-dried milk. So your mileage may vary on that. Advantages, it's going to be the best shelf life. It's got the longest storage of anything. And yes, they say 20 to 30 years, but I think a lot of that can go farther than 30 years. Nutrient, you're going to keep 95% or more of the nutrients in there. You're not losing anything when you're freeze drying it. The taste and texture. Now, of course, taste and texture. If you're going to do chili, a while back, my wife made a super monster batch of chili, and we had a bunch left over, and I was like, hey, I'm going to freeze dry this chili. We ran the freeze dryer with the chili, and we also had some chicken and dumplings. So I ran the chicken and dumplings in there also. So I was like, I want to try the chili after it was done. So as I was packaging everything up, I grabbed just a solo cup, filled the solo cup about halfway with the freeze-dried chili, poured some steaming hot water in there, stirred it up, let it set for 10 minutes, and I took a bite of it, and I was like, this is amazing. And I gave my wife a bite, and she was like, I don't know about doing, eating the freeze-dried stuff. She's like, it's kind of weird. And I was like, try a bite of it. She tried a bite of it, and she was like, hey, this stuff is good. Chicken and dumplings did great. I rehydrated some of it. So it comes back almost identical as, fresh stuff. It might be off just a smidge, but it's still amazing. I would rather have it than a lot of other stuff, honestly. Lightweight. You're taking all the moisture out of this. It's going to be lightweight. You can take it in a bug out bag. You can pack a bunch of freeze-dried food with you. And I will say the one big disadvantage with dehydrated and freeze-dried is you have to have water to rehydrate this stuff, essentially to eat it. You could eat it without rehydrating it, but I wouldn't want to, honestly. That's the one big advantage that canning has over that. If you're going to do, let's say chili. If you're going to can chili, you can open up that jar of chili and eat it right there. If you've got freeze-dried chili, you're going to have to put water with it and let it rehydrate before you can eat it. So you're also going to have to carry water with you. So a lot of people are like, oh, I can do freeze-dried food. I'm not carrying near as much stuff, but you got to carry water with you or procure water from somewhere and filter it and all that stuff. So you're not getting away easy either way you're going to do it. Let's see, Michael Hamilton. Bananas are awesome, but don't last long, about a week, and they get eaten. Yeah, that's the problem. It's like you can freeze dry stuff, and if you don't put it up and hide it sometimes from the kids, it's like boom, it's gone. So I know when I do jerky does not last long around here whatsoever. It'll last maybe a week, and you can make a massive amount of jerky, and usually it's gone in a week. Disadvantages of your freeze dryers: they're expensive. I mean, it's not something, unless you're infinitely wealthy. Most people are not like, oh, I'm going to buy a freeze dryer today. Most people are going to look at it, research it, and really see if it's something they want to do. You can buy a lot of freeze dried food. I mean, you're looking $1,800 to $5,000 for one. You're in the middle ground, let's say $3,000 middle ground for one. You can buy a fair amount of freeze dried food with that. But you can also freeze dry a heck of a lot of food, once you got it and come out way ahead. So the high cost is one of the disadvantages. Time, you're usually taking 24 to 48 hours to run a batch. So it's not fast. The only fast thing with freeze dried is if you're doing candy and set it on the candy cycle. Maintenance, they do require a little bit of maintenance. Not a horrible amount of maintenance. You got to change the oil unless you get one of the oilless pumps. I've got the upgraded pump that's an oil pump, and we do an oil change on it ever so often. The gaskets, it's not too awful bad. I've never replaced a gasket on mine, so I'm not super worried about that. The units are kind of loud. Mine is in the basement. Actually, it's behind this wall, sitting on the other side of this wall. The unit is kind of noisy, but it's not something horrible. It's about like a dishwasher. So look at that. And then Michael says electric use is high with the freeze dryer. Yes, they do use a fair amount of electricity. Mine is the large unit from Harvest Right, and it takes a 20 amp dedicated plug. So I went ahead and ran down in the basement. I ran a 20 amp dedicated plug to it and never had a problem with that. But the electric use, it does use a fair amount of electricity on it. Best long-term security, you can preserve whole meals. So I mean, if you love the way your wife makes chicken and dumplings, have her make extra chicken and dumplings, put it in there, you're set and ready to go. If you got a diet where you're on a low sodium diet or some kind of special diet, you can make the food exactly how you want it. And then that way you don't have to worry about looking at the sodium content, any kind of stuff you're allergic to. If you're buying commercial freeze dried stuff, you can make it exactly the way you want to. And I'll tell you, on my freeze dryer, I look at it, the most expensive stuff that you're going to, and this is looking commercial freeze dried stuff, the most expensive stuff you're going to buy usually is your meats. So I usually focus on doing a lot of meats because we raise a lot of animals. We process a lot of animals. So I've always got meat that we can do. I do a lot of pork. I do a lot of beef also. We'll do a whole lot of ground beef. Sometimes I will patty out burgers and do raw hamburgers. Sometimes I'll do cooked hamburgers. Take them out on the Blackstone, cook your burgers, and then bring them in, put them in the refrigerator, and let them cool down. And then I'll run whole burgers through the freeze dryer. We've got a lot of cooked ground beef. I'll take the Blackstone and throw tons of ground beef on it, cook all of it on the Blackstone, and then drain what little fat is in there. I'll let it drain off because fats don't freeze dry real good. So just remember that. But I'll drain a lot of the grease off of it and then freeze dry the cooked hamburger meat. Then that way you can use it in chilies. You can do tacos with it, all kinds of different stuff that you want to do that way. pork chops. We do a lot of pork chops. We've got an abundance of pork here, and I will do the pork chops, but just make sure that when you're doing the pork chops, you trim most of the fat off the pork chops, just because, like I said, fat does not freeze dry real well. So look at that. I've ran 60 pork chops through my freeze dryer at one time, and that was a heck of a haul. I was like, this is amazing. They were pork chops we raised here and processed, and I was like, I'm going to freeze dry some pork chops. They did amazing. I was super happy, and I was like, I got 60 pork chops in this thing. So I love using the freeze dryer, but typically we run the expensive stuff. And when I'm saying expensive stuff, I'm saying expensive stuff if you bought it from a commercial freeze dry company, you know, like Mountain House, or what is it, Emergency Essentials, places like that. So I run mostly meats and the expensive stuff. I want to do a bunch of eggs. I have not done eggs yet, just because we got fresh eggs all the time. I'll need to play with it and do some eggs. I've had a couple people want me to freeze dry eggs, but it's been, hey, I just don't have time right this minute. So let's see. Bill, if you got any questions about freeze drying, throw some in the chat real quick, and I'll see if I can answer them. I am not 100% expert on freeze drying. We do a fair amount of it, but I'm not an expert whatsoever. And Bill says, I'm getting pretty excited. I'm down to 5 days until the piglets are due. That's going to be awesome, Bill. I bet you are excited. Let's see. I have the capacity for several new circuits by taking out the 220-volt oven and the dishwasher. Yeah. If you buy, I know the large freeze dryer does take, and from Harvest Grade, does take a dedicated 20-amp plug. But I will tell you this, if you're not running, you don't have to run a totally dedicated 20-amp plug. If you've got a 20-amp circuit in the house and nothing else is on it, you can use that. And then when you're not using your freeze dryer, you can use the other stuff on it. But if you're using that and there's something else on there, it's going to trip a 20-amp breaker. We only use a toaster oven and only for baking and whatnot. Yeah. So, guys, my personal opinion on preservation stuff, use all three. Don't just pigeonhole yourself. Don't just pigeonhole yourself. And Greg, what is this? The freeze drying community. Yeah. There's a freeze drying community. I don't know. I will check that out and look at it. L2 Survive. For freeze dryers, look for different places to get vacuum parts after the collapse. Colleges usually have some in their medical departments, and there's other places to get oil needed. Yeah, exactly. I mean, heck, it's just a vacuum pump on there. I mean, all your HVAC guys have vacuum pumps when they're servicing units, and you're just pulling a vacuum on it. But yes, L2 Survive. Colleges, I bet the Western's got a ton of vacuum pumps setting up there. So that, and then I don't know. I would have to check the weight of the oil. I don't know what the weight of the oil is and stuff like that. Samantha, what is your opinion on which preservation method that retains the most nutrients? Canning is probably going to do the most nutrients. If you look by the books, and they'll say with freeze-dried food, you're at 95 to 97% nutrient. Dehydration is going to take out the most nutrients on it. So it's going to kind of be a toss-up of as far as canning or freeze-drying. I don't think one or the other is going to be any different. So I'm right there with canning and freeze-drying is going to retain the most nutrients. So I do know that doing dehydration is going to take the most nutrients out of it, but it's not it's not going to be void. It's not like if you take a perfect apple or whatever you're going to preserve, that if you do it with dehydration, you're just going to wind up with nothing. You're still going to have a lot of nutrients in there, just not as much as canning or freeze drying. But my opinion on it, you need to have all three preservation methods going. Freeze dryers don't do fats real well, so it's going to be a little bit better to can your fats. The fats are going to do better canning. The fats are not going to dehydrate whatsoever. You're just going to wind up with a gunky mess with the fats. Like your jerkies need to be lean meat when you're making jerky on it. So all three of these methods are going to be great. Canning, you got ready to eat stuff. You can essentially crack that jar open, start eating out of it. Dehydration is going to work for a lot of different stuff. Freeze-dried stuff and dehydrated stuff, you're going to have water to rehydrate those to eat it. So it's just a mixture of all three. It's just like anything else. Don't put like fuel storage. Don't store just gasoline. Store different things. Store gasoline, store diesel, store propane. So you never know. Each one has its own little niche that you can do. So guys, that is about all I've got for today. I appreciate it, and be looking out. Also be looking out. We're either going to do Thursday morning or Friday night. I'm probably leaning towards Friday night and doing it that way. But I will let you know. I'll post it soon so you can see it and let you know about that. Let me see. Michael says, eggs are easy. Scramble, pre-freeze, and freeze dry. We have about 30 dozen so far. All right. I didn't know. So, Michael, you're going ahead and scrambling the eggs and then putting them in. I've seen some people do it raw, which I don't know. I'm not a big fan of throwing raw eggs in the freeze dryer and having it, just because you got those little shallow trays, and if you spill eggs all over the place, it's like, oh crap, this is not fun. But I'm going to try eggs. I need to stock up on some eggs and not eat them quite as fast, and where we got some stored, and scramble those jokers and do it. And also, that is one thing that I found out. If you pre-freeze everything, the cycle goes a heck of a lot faster. And I bought an extra set of trays for mine, and then they got the little tray covers. So what I did when we're running it super serious, I will have like burgers, and I've got burgers and I need to run, but we'll take the burgers and cook those and everything, and then pre-freeze those on a tray. I can slide that in the freeze dryer. And then I've got a whole nother set of trays that I can put something on and pre-freeze it. So as soon as my burgers come out, I can pull those out, do a defrost cycle on it, and then slide that next set of trays in there. And it really speeds stuff up that way. That's why pre-freezing eliminates it. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I will do some eggs, and maybe we'll do a video on it. But guys, that's what I've got. I hope y'all have an awesome day. I've got a quick meeting after this, and then it's off to my brother's house to start doing some more work on his place. So guys, I appreciate it. I will see y'all most likely Friday night instead of Friday morning, but I appreciate it. Y'all have a good week, and we will see y'all soon. Bye.